I have no doubt the revenge you want will be yours in time.
Varys said this in Season 3, Episode 4, while casually opening a shipping crate in front of Tyrion Lannister. Inside the crate was a man. Not just any man. The sorcerer who had mutilated Varys as a child 40 years earlier. Alive. Mouth sewn shut. Shipped across the world like cargo. This scene reveals more about true power in Westeros than any battle or betrayal. While others fought with swords and armies, Varys demonstrated something far more terrifying. Infinite patience, global reach, and the complete absence of ego that makes a man unstoppable. Let's examine exactly what this scene reveals about why Varys was the most dangerous man in the Seven Kingdoms. The setup. The horrific story. Varys invites Tyrion to his chambers and begins telling a story. A story he's clearly never shared with anyone before. As a boy, I traveled with a troupe of actors through the free cities. One day in Myr, a certain man made my master an offer too tempting to refuse. Varys was sold. A child sold to a sorcerer. And what follows is one of the most disturbing stories in the series. He gave me a potion that made me powerless to move or speak, yet did nothing to dull my senses. With a hooked blade he sliced me, root and stem, chanting all the while. He burned my parts in a brazier. The flames turned blue, and I heard a voice answer his call. The sorcerer castrated a conscious child for a magical ritual, then threw him out to die. Varys tells this story calmly, methodically, while using a hammer and crowbar to open a massive wooden crate. The juxtaposition is deliberate. He's opening a present while describing his worst trauma. The reveal. 40 years of patience. As the lid comes off the crate, the camera reveals what's inside. A man, very much alive, mouth sewn shut. Hello, my old friend. It's been a long time. It's the sorcerer. The same man who mutilated Varys 40 years ago. Think about that timeline. 40 years. Varys was a child when this happened. He's now the master of whispers on the small council. And he's been waiting, patiently, methodically, building his power until he could reach across the world and pluck this man from wherever he was hiding. Most characters in Game of Thrones are driven by immediate emotion. Joffrey lashes out instantly. Cersei seeks revenge impulsively. Even calculated players like Tywin work on timescales of years, not decades. But Varys waited 40 years. And that makes him terrifying. The message? Patience as a weapon. Varys reveals the sorcerer to make a point to Tyrion. I feel the need for actual revenge against the actual person who tried to act, which will require a degree of influence which you do not possess at the moment. That influence is largely a matter of patience, I have found. Tyrion wants revenge on Cersei and Joffrey for trying to kill him at the Blackwater. He wants it now. He's frustrated by his lack of power. Varys is teaching him. True power requires patience. The ability to wait, to build slowly, to never forget but never rush. Once the sorcerer had served his purpose, he threw me out of his house to die. I resolved to live to spite him. I begged. I sold what parts of my body remained to me. I became an excellent thief. Step by step, one distasteful task after another, I made my way from the slums of Myr to the small council chamber. This is Varys's origin story. A castrated child thrown into the streets like garbage, climbed to become one of the most powerful men in Westeros. Not through birthright, he has none. Not through armies, he commands none. Not through wealth, he started with nothing. But through patience, intelligence, and making himself indispensable. Think about this journey, from the slums of Myr, a foreign city, to the small council of the Seven Kingdoms. From a mutilated child prostitute to the master of whisperers, advising kings. He learned that information was more valuable than gold. He learned that being useful was safer than being powerful. He learned that patience, waiting for the right moment, was the ultimate weapon. And through it all, he remembered. He never forgot the sorcerer who cut him. He just waited for the moment when he'd have the power to do something about it. The power, global reach, influence, grows like a weed. I tended mine patiently, until its tendrils reached from the Red Keep all the way across to the far side of the world, where I managed to wrap them around something very special. This line reveals the true extent of Varys's network. His little birds, His spies aren't just in King's Landing. They're everywhere. The sorcerer was in the free cities, thousands of miles away. Varys tracked him, arranged his kidnapping, had him shipped across the narrow sea in a wooden crate like cargo. Think about the logistics of this. Varys needed spies in the free cities to locate the sorcerer and track his movements over decades. Operatives capable of kidnapping a sorcerer, someone who practices magic, without killing him. The resources to ship a living human being across the sea in secret, keeping him alive for the entire journey. Someone to sew the sorcerer's mouth shut, a symbolic act of taking his voice, his spells, his power. The ability to bring this crate into the Red Keep without anyone questioning what's inside. This demonstrates power that transcends borders. While the great houses fight over Westeros, squabbling over castles and territories within the Seven Kingdoms, Varys operates globally. His network isn't limited to King's Landing or even Westeros. It spans the known world, from the free cities to Slaver's Bay to the Summer Isles. His little birds, orphaned children trained as spies, are everywhere. This is why Varys knows about Daenerys and her dragons long before anyone in Westeros takes her seriously. This is why he can arrange Jon Arryn's assassination. This is why he knows secrets that lords would kill to keep hidden. No one is beyond his reach. Cross Varys and it doesn't matter if you flee to Bravos, Pentos, or Karth. He will find you, eventually. The philosophy: no ego, just purpose. What makes Varys truly dangerous is what he doesn't want. He doesn't want to be king. He doesn't want glory or recognition. He doesn't want wealth or land or titles beyond what makes him useful. I made myself useful. This is his entire philosophy. Make yourself indispensable. Be the person everyone needs, but no one fears. Operate in the background, where you control information, which means you control everything. This makes him nearly impossible to defeat, because you can't bribe or tempt a man who doesn't want the things others want. Tywin wants legacy. You can hurt him by threatening his family name. Littlefinger wants power, and Catelyn. You can manipulate him through ambition and desire. Cersei wants her children safe and her enemies dead. You can predict her by understanding her fears. But Varys wants the realm to prosper. An abstract, noble goal with no personal gain attached. He's already sacrificed everything. His manhood, his childhood, his identity. What's left to threaten or tempt him with? The symbol, the sewn mouth. The sorcerer's mouth is sewn shut. This isn't just practical, it's symbolic. The sorcerer used words, chants, spells. His power came from his voice, from the words he spoke to summon whatever answered from the flames. Varys took that away, permanently silenced him. The message is clear. I am the only one who gets to speak. I am the one who controls information. You took my voice as a child, so I'm taking yours forever. It's poetic justice and a demonstration of absolute control. The sorcerer is alive but completely powerless. He can't speak, can't cast spells, can't call for help, can only listen as Varys explains exactly how thoroughly he's been defeated. The contrast: Varys versus other power players. This scene reveals why Varys is more dangerous than the other major players. Joffrey reacts with immediate cruelty. Executes Ned Stark on impulse. Gets himself poisoned at his own wedding. Dead before age 20. Robb Stark acts on honor and emotion. Breaks his oath to marry for love. Dies at the Red Wedding. Dead at 16. Tywin Lannister plans in years and decades, but still moves faster than Varys. Orchestrates the Red Wedding to end a war quickly. Shot on a privy by his own son. Littlefinger schemes constantly, creating chaos decline. But he wants power for himself. Wants to be Lord of Winterfell, wants to be protector of the Vale. His ego makes him predictable. Dies when the Stark sisters turn on him. Varys waits 40 years, builds a global network, has no ego or personal ambition beyond the realm, survives nearly every major player and dies only when he actively chooses to commit treason against Daenerys. The difference is time and ego. Varys plays a longer game than anyone else and has nothing to lose because he's already lost everything. The lesson: what true power looks like. This scene teaches Tyrion and the audience what real power looks like in Westeros. It's not armies. Robb had armies and died. It's not birthright. Joffrey was king and died. It's not dragons. Daenerys had dragons and ultimately failed. Real power is Patience, the ability to wait decades for the right moment, to never forget, but never rush, to build slowly and deliberately until you're unstoppable. Knowing things others don't, having spies everywhere, controlling what people know and when they know it. Indispensability, making yourself so useful that every regime needs you. Surviving regime changes because you're too valuable to kill. Lack of ego, not wanting glory or recognition, operating in shadows where you're safe from the spotlight that gets others killed. Global reach, power that transcends borders. No one is safe anywhere if you decide they're your enemy. The final truth, I have no doubt the revenge you want will be yours in time, if you have the stomach for it. Varys says this while showing Tyrion a man who hurt him 40 years ago, now captured and silenced. The message to Tyrion is clear. Revenge is possible, but it requires patience. It requires building power slowly. It requires playing the long game. But the message to the audience is even more important. Varys is the most dangerous man in Westeros. Not because he commands armies, not because he sits on the Iron Throne, but because he waited 40 years to punish a man who wronged him as a child. 40 years of patience while building a global spy network. A man who can wait that long for revenge is a man who never forgets and never gives up. His power has no borders. He reached across the world to the free cities, found one specific man and had him kidnapped and shipped to King's Landing. No one is beyond his reach. He has no ego or personal ambition. You can't bribe him with land or titles. You can't tempt him with power. Because he doesn't want to rule, he wants to control who rules. You can't threaten him because he's already sacrificed everything. He controls information. By sewing the sorcerer's mouth shut, Varys demonstrates his ultimate power. He decides who gets to speak, who gets heard, who gets to tell their story. In a world where information is power, Varys is the gatekeeper. This scene reveals all of this in one devastating demonstration.